over for a dozen and a half condo owners in Fort Lauderdale. They're being forced to sell their building because of new state laws that require repairs with big price tags.
Once it sells, quite likely it's going to be taken down and make room for a new condo.
I told you this was going to happen. I told you 6 months to a year ago this was going to happen. It gets better. You got to see what they do with this. I told you. I want to say I told you. This is one of the greatest land grabs of all times. Right up there with what's going on in California.
Joan, this is a sign of things to come?
Well, you may remember we were in front of this building about 3 months ago when everyone was forced to leave because of a crumbling foundation. Well, now they have made the difficult decision to never come back.
There it is. They're going to sell it. Just like I told you, they're going to sell it. Pennies on the dollar. And these investors, they won. They won. Create chaos, change the code, crush the building, do it all over again. See what's about to happen. This was an epic land grab. I could see it coming from a mile away because there was no way prior to these studies being done that you could have ever foreseen as a buyer knowing that a pillar on the back of this condo underground, that it could be, that bad. There was no way to disclose it. There was no way to really know as a buyer. I mean, you can't pay to inspect the entire building to buy a condo. You're just banking on a seller's disclosure or that the condo association is taking care of itself. It's a great bait and switch. Comment down below what you think about this. Right, wrong, up, down, left, right. Let's have some discord.
Everybody's scattered all over.
Warren Sackler's life has been upended for months, along with his neighbors at Springbrook Gardens, a beachside bit of paradise built in the 1940s.
It's horrific. It's indeed the saddest day.
Last September, condo owners were forced out after the building was found to be unsafe. The foundation was decaying.
We didn't have $4.5 million to take care of the story of the building.
So residents have decided to sell. Each would have had to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs required under new statewide condo laws enacted after the deadly Surfside collapse in 2021. Under the new condo laws, all condos must have reserves for major repairs and money for maintaining the roof, foundation, and balconies. And structural inspections must be done on condos 3 stories and higher.
See, here's the thing about most of these condos. Concrete only lasts so long, plumbing only lasts so long, electrical only lasts so long. I hate it for these people, but I also feel like the bankers are a tad responsible. They've been underwriting these condos for many, many, many years, knowing that there's a life expectancy on a building. I mean, even the IRS gives you a life expectancy on a building when you depreciate it out. And a building that was built in the 60s, or earlier, the concrete lifespan, 100 years, put some salt water on it, give or take. Don't know if the pour was good, not. You don't even know who built it. Contractors here and gone. Will it last 100 years? We don't know. But what we're seeing on most of these condos is the answer is no. And they're being assessed for 6 figures. This is super sad because if you thought you were going to live out your life in a condo only to find out that there's this giant assessment because of this law that was passed by some legislatures, some politicians that didn't understand what they were doing when they made the law and didn't realize what they're going to do is about to make a bunch of people homeless. And that is what's happening to the elderly community right now in Miami, South Florida, with these new condo laws. Not to mention throw insurance on top of it that the legislature has not figured out. Throw in some of these assessments, these repairs, and then some bad condominium or condo association directors and board members, and you've got an absolute mess. A lot of condo associations are insolvent, mismanaged. A lot of times the people on the board have no idea what they're doing, and they are responsible for your financial well-being and your investment, which is your home, your condo. And this is an absolute mess, and we're seeing the building is going to get crushed. It's going to get rebuilt. It's going to get refinanced, and those big hedge funds will be off to the next catastrophe, most likely in California.
Changing the landscape, rising maintenance fees and assessments are driving people out. Would you call it a glut right now?
Yeah, I think that's a good word to use. There's a lot of condominiums that are currently for sale, and a lot of them just simply can't sell.
So what do? You try to sell, Can't, because it's a statewide catastrophe. You're not going to get your price because every one of these are facing the assessments, and the ones that pass their structural survey, we now know they can come up with an assessment at any time. People's hands are caught in the cookie jar. There's no way out because everybody's looking at this assessment that's probably already on the building, and they're like, you know what, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. And if you're a banker, you really got to be wondering. You've got all these loans out, you've financed all these loans, and now the building is structurally unsound, okay? Because it's like a whipsaw, like a knee-jerk reaction when they made these laws. And, you know, now when you get a condo loan, they're forcing you to have these studies, which is another thing. What if your building hasn't? People are trying to get out. You're trying to get out, trying to sell your property. You're stuck. And nobody's going to buy this thing. And as an agent, as a real estate agent myself, and I'm on the other side of that deal, I'm saying, I want to see all the documents. I want to see everything. Are you insolvent? Like, I want to see the studies. I want to see the assessments. I want to see everything. And if you're not using a real estate agent and you're wanting to buy a condo, you better buckle up. Either that or an attorney, because there are so many holes to get caught in these condos. Woo, there's so many bylaws, CCRs. You can do this, can't do that. You're responsible for this and not that. Oh, now their assessment. Who pays for that? Who's going to pay for part of it? Tricky.
I renovated, and then I had some friends post stuff, and we gutted the place.
Warren Sackler has stripped his double unit of appliances and fixtures before the wrecking ball takes down his building. He doesn't know where he'll end up or if the cost of a similar unit near the water will be affordable.
Nobody's happy about it. Everybody, of the 18 people, they all...
You know, as a condo owner, you're supposed to be responsible really for your four walls and inside it. That's what you get your insurance policy for. But you never thought that you would be responsible for the back left corner pillar that's going to make the entire building fall unless you get a $100,000 assessment. You never saw that one coming. But we're seeing $150,000 assessments, $200,000 assessments. Some of these high-end luxury ones on the beach, it's just astronomical. And like here in Pensacola, like most of the condos are over 30 years old. So they're getting assessed. And as we've seen some places in South Florida that I did a video on that some of them are starting to sink. You sink 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches on a foundation at the top of that building, you're off by a lot. This is going to be a major problem. And what do you do with that? We're going to get the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or are we going to crush the building and rebuild it? And a lot of politicians are happy. That's more likely what's going to happen. Government bailout, just like California is about to see.
Wanted to live, they would love to live there, but not with the debt and everything else.
So we've been told that the owners have been offered $14 million for this building, but it was considered not enough. They're looking for $22, $23 million. They're going to meet with the realtor on Friday to see if that is possible. Once it sells, quite likely it's going to be taken down and make room for a new condo.
New condo. See, they're going to crush it. I told you. Y'all have been along with me for this entire journey while I've been ranting on this subject. I saw it coming a long time ago. It was the way to jettison these things, and now they're going to crush them. You know why? Because they're insolvent, or they don't have the money for the assessment. It's going to fall down anyways. It was probably not built right from the get-go because, this is all hearsay, cocaine cowboys. Some guys built a lot of these condos, money laundering. Comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. They made a Netflix documentary on the entire thing. I'm not saying these are. I'm just saying some were, and some of those contractors could have been iffy. All hearsay. It's all opinion. No fact behind it other than a Netflix documentary. They're giving them a lot value for that building. It's overlooking the water. They're going to give them the lot value. They're going to destroy that entire building. That way they don't have to go to court and say they stole it from them. And they're going to put some humongous skyrise right there, and they're all going to be $1 million a piece. They're net positive on the first 2 floors of that humongous skyrise they're about to put on it. Just go look at any beach and see what happens. You know, I think one of the most frustrating parts of these type of videos is the journalists don't know enough to say what is coming up ahead. To give an opinion, they just report, they give their little slant on it, and then they say, here's what's going on. But I've been trying to tell y'all exactly what has been going on for a long time. As a real estate professional, I look at this stuff and I say, here comes the investors. What are the bankers going to do? What are the insurers going to do? And if you're an insurance agent right now and you're looking to put a policy on one of these buildings, why would you? When the large amount of them are finding out that there's something wrong with them. I mean, structural stuff. And, you know, whether you fall on the law was a good idea or not, this is not a black and white good or not. This is one of those things that they wrote a law they didn't really think about, and it created first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth order of effects. And when you try to explain it to a politician that doesn't do real estate, they just don't get it. And that's what we're seeing here. Now, we don't even know if the assessments, the actual invoice bill for the work, if that's even on the up and up. If the board director didn't just get a friend, you know, to submit an invoice to do the work, and it costs 3 times as much, and somebody's getting a kickback. There's going to be a lot of people going to jail over this stuff, but it'll be 10, 15 years from now. My job was to just try to warn y'all. And as a real estate agent, I try to say, how do you do this deal? 1, going in, know there might be an assessment. Know what the CCRs are. Know what the condo association rules and procedures. Know if they're solvent, they got money. Know if they're financially responsible. Know who's on the board. Document, request everything. If there's an agent on the other side, hold their feet to the fire to get you all these documents. Don't listen to any I don't knows or I heard or they said. If it's not in writing, it doesn't count in real estate. Make sure you get good representation. If you want to, have an attorney. But if you've got a good lawyer or if you got a good real estate agent, you'll be fine. Work with a good title company. Don't try to be a shark on some of this stuff if you don't know what you're doing. Okay? Make sure you do it by the book. Make sure that it's been inspected. Make sure it's safe, solid, and sound. And if there's any type of danger in the future. And if you do those rules, if you do your due diligence, it's fine buying a condo. But when you are just going in and thinking you're just going to be fine, well, you got another thing coming, because they're going to get stricter on these rules. The other states are going to start following this stuff. It's going to go from Florida to Alabama and everywhere else on the Gulf Coast, all the way up to East Coast. And now that we're seeing the fires in California, it's going to get worse out there. They're going to change the codes out there over the next few years to where you got to build with concrete and steel. I mean, it makes sense because of all the fires, but that brings in a whole nother set of problems for the people that have older homes and trying to get insured and trying to build. I ranted about it in my last video. I think I'm going to make another video after this because a lot of stuff is coming out since then. And as a real estate agent, if you are looking to buy or sell properties on the Gulf Coast of Florida and Alabama, my email's down below. I'd be happy to help you. And if I can't, I'll find somebody that can. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.